Today we're reading Cornelius Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, Book 1, Chapter 1. I'm really excited to begin doing this reading with all of you. So, the 3 books of occult philosophy. The 3 books of occult philosophy by Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. These are 3 books that were published in the 16th century and are very important. This is largely seen as like the backbone of Western occultism. It's very important text. So Book 1 was published in 1531, and then all 3 books together were published in 1533 by Cornelius Agrippa. Now, in other videos, so I'm going to jump in because this is a reading, but today I just want to explain a little bit some instructions. So this is video 1, so video 1 will come with some instructions. I'm going to try to jump right in to the reading. So the first thing that I want to say in my instructions here is that I'm going to jump right into the reading. Second of all, first I'm going to read straight through, and after I read straight through, I will give everyone a chance. If you're watching live, we can comment. Today we're looking at Agrippa, Book 1, Chapter 1. So today, Cato, you made it just in the nick of time. We are about to read together Cornelius Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, Book 1, Chapter 1. So we're jumping right into our reading, and this is the translation by the Freak translation. And by the way, I've given a link in the description. If you're watching live, I went ahead and added it. If you do buy a copy using the link that I provide, it is a commissioned link, so full disclosure, it is commissioned. I do get so if you do decide to buy the book and you use the links that I provide, if I put #ad, that means it is a commissioned link. So if you do purchase using my Amazon links, I do get a commission, which helps monetize my channel. So just full disclosure, my Amazon links, if you buy the book to follow along, they are commission links. So let's jump right in, y'all. And we'll do a little commentary after the reading, but let's try to keep this to the point. Focus. All right. So we're about to read Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, Book 1, Chapter 1. How magicians collect virtues from the threefold world is declared in these 3 books. Seeing there is a threefold world, elementary, celestial, and intellectual, and every inferior is governed by its superior, and receiveth the influence of the virtues thereof, so that the very original and chief worker of all doth by angels, the heavens, stars, elements, animals, plants, metals, and stones convey from himself the virtues of his omnipotency upon us, for whose service he made and created all these things. Wise men conceive it no way irrational that it should be possible for us to ascend by the same degrees through each world, to the same very original world itself, the maker of all things and first cause, from whence all things are and proceed, and also to enjoy not only these virtues, which are already in the more excellent kind of things, but also besides these to draw new virtues from above. Hence it is that they seek after the virtues of the elementary world through the help of physic, and natural philosophy and the various mixtions of natural things, then of the celestial world and the rays and influences thereof, according to the rules of astrologers and the doctrines of mathematicians, joining the celestial virtues to the former, Moreover, they ratify and confirm all these with the powers of diverse intelligencies through the sacred ceremonies of religion. The order and process of all these I shall endeavor to deliver in these 3 books, whereof the first contains natural magic, the second celestial, and the third ceremonial. But I know not whether it be an unpardonable presumption in me that I, a man of so little judgment and learning, should in my very youth so confidently set upon a business so difficult, so hard and intricate as this is. Wherefore, whatsoever things have here already, and shall afterwards be said by me, I would not have any one assent to them, nor shall I myself any farther than they shall be approved of by the universal church and the congregation of the faithful. So that was a reading of Cornelius Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, Book 1, Chapter 1. So that is complete, and I plan to do each video individually. So in the future, people listening that you just want to hear the text and move on to the next chapter in the next video, you can end here, because now herein begins the discussion. So reading's over, discussion begins. So here Agrippa is basically introducing the whole book in this one page, this one chapter. It's interesting. What it's calling a chapter here in Agrippa is really like a page. And it's actually common in a lot of ancient books. Like if you read a lot of texts from the classics, from books from 2,000 years ago and things, you know, a lot of times a chapter is like a page. It's very common. So people just wrote books differently. It was a different style of writing than they do nowadays. But it's like a page. And yet it introduces the whole concept of the whole book. The whole book is based upon the idea that there are 3 worlds. 3 worlds. And there are 3 types of magic. And it's interesting because Agrippa's theory actually still holds true. Even a modern occultist can still use his division of magic today. How so? Well, let's take a look. Elementary magic. Elemental magic is purely dealing with things like roots and stones, plants and animals, although many people see it as immoral to use animal parts, but stones and plants, things from nature. This is natural magic. This is the first type of magic. And of course, we can look at different types of magic. A lot of people, for example, practice hoodoo or other like natural magic where you might put 5-finger grass in your pocket to go to a job interview. Or you may carry a stone, or you may anoint yourself with a particular oil. So what you're doing is you're using herbs and stones and plants and incenses and oils that have magical properties in them. So the power comes from the elemental qualities of the herbs and stones. So that is elemental magic. And there are many forms of magic that use just a purely practical magic based on herbs and stones and things, crystals, okay? Very popular in the modern New Age, for example. So this is the first type of magic that Agrippa already classified in the 16th century. The second type of magic that Agrippa talked about was astrological magic. Here, the power of magic comes from the motions of the heavens. This is based on astrology, and here you have astrological talismans, Mars talismans, talismans of Venus and the sun, and etc., Jupiter talismans, talismans of the fixed stars, things of that nature. So this is world 2. Now, these 2 worlds overlap. What do I mean by that? Every stone is associated with a certain planet. Every stone is associated with a certain planet or zodiac sign or whatever. So that means that the elemental world is a reflection of the celestial world. Again, I'm not saying it literally is. I'm saying according to the theory of Agrippa, according to this book, material things here below, quote unquote, here below in this world of manifestation, things here are a reflection of astrological things in the heavens. So this kind of shows, a lot of times people have heard of the Hermetic adage, as above, so below. Or all that is above is a reflection of that which is below. All that is below is a reflection of that which is above. Okay, this is part of the Hermetic, the Emerald Tablet, which that's a whole other thing. Okay, medieval alchemy stuff. But it's like part of the backbone of Western occultism, and it's reflected here in Agrippa. Many centuries, it's reflected. We see this idea that this continuity with the past, but what we see is as above, so below. We see that material events are reflected in the heavens because this follows the theory of astrology. Okay, which began with the Babylonians and the Egyptians and the Greeks and all of that. So, the second world is the astrological world. So you could see how a stone could be associated with Mars or Venus. So here you have two worlds. You have the astrological and you have the stone or the herb. So you can use oils of Jupiter to anoint yourself and pray to Jupiter. Or at a proper moment of the sun, at a good moment of Mars, for example, you may use a ruby, the stone of Mars, and anoint it with the oil of Mars at a good time. So what you're doing is you're using elemental things here below, which corresponds to above, and you're using the sympathy, the principle of correspondence, to draw down, to attract the astrological forces into the talisman or object. So this serves as a type of vessel. The talisman is a type of vessel or materia, matter, to draw down the spiritus or the spirit of the star. So in this way, the talisman is a type of vessel. You're trying to draw down and attract astrological forces. Now, we need to keep in mind that we're not dealing with literal rocks floating in space. We're dealing with archetypes. What do I mean by that? We're not just dealing with with a bunch of gases and rocks floating in space. When we're dealing with Mars, we're dealing with anger and assertiveness and strength and adversity and all of these types. We're dealing with an archetype. So we're not just dealing with a bunch of rock and gases and atmospheres and spinning in space. No, we're dealing with aggression. When we're looking at Venus, we're not just dealing with a ball of gases floating in space. We're dealing with love and desire. So as we see, we're dealing with archetypes. So anyways, the stones are said to embody astrological conditions. So through the timing and the talisman, you draw down. So as above, so below. Now, as I said, Agrippa had 3 worlds and 3 types of magic. Already we see an elemental magic, which by itself you could just use herbs and stones and plants. Then we have an astrological or celestial world and magic, where you can use the plants and stones that can then be empowered with astrological timing. So you could say that stones and plants, these things are powerful in themselves, but stacking on top of that astrological timing is like an added power, a little booster of power, okay? Now you get to world 3, the divine world, which is the realm of archangels or gods. and goddesses, or however you want to see the divine realm, that is at the top of beyond the celestial. So this whole time, the celestial or astrological realm was really just a window to catch a glimpse into the divine mind that is beyond the stars. So the stars are really just a window, a glimpse into the mind of God, into the divine order. So there is a realm beyond that. And that divine realm is, so every star in turn, every star and planet is really just a lower embodiment of a higher up divine principle, which could be seen as a deity or an archangel, a higher up divine principle, the next step up. So just like this stone or this herb, just like this stone or this rock or incense here in the elementary world below is a reflection of a star or planet in the celestial realm, that star or planet in the same way is a reflection of a divine force in the next realm up. So you have three realms and three levels of manifestation, and as above, so below. So what you're doing is you're using the sympathies now. So there are three types of magic. There's an elemental magic. There is an astrological or celestial magic. And then third, there is a divine magic, which is invoking archangels, or you could say deities, if you take a pagan perspective, whatever. So what you're doing now, if you want to add power on top of power, and kind of the theory of Agrippa with his 3 books, this is why he has 3 books. 3 books of occult philosophy. Each book deals with elementary, celestial, divine magic. These 3 books. If you really want to stack all of this together, you can combine all 3. How do I mean? You could have a solar talisman. The sun is exalted in Aries. You could have a solar talisman right now while the sun is in Aries. The sun is exalted in Aries. And you can do this when the moon is waxed during the day and hour of the sun. So there's your celestial moment according to Renaissance magic rules. Good celestial. So there's that second world. So now I need materials. So your second world is good because the sun is in Aries, all that, okay? Let's go back to world 1, the elementary world. We need tools. Go to your rock shop. Go to your local, you may look up new age shops, metaphysical shops, rock shops near you, or you might like to buy your rocks on Amazon. Just be careful because there are some fake stones out there that are actually glass, and there are fakes. I think it's a rewarding experience, honestly, to go, if you've never been before, go visit your local metaphysical shops. There are many people that have never been out in the esoteric community. I'm not saying that people that don't like social gatherings should go be in the occult social group. No. But why not go visit a local metaphysical shop? You might meet someone interesting or have a cool conversation. You never know. But I think it's cool to go to a physical rock shop. I like to go sometimes. Sometimes I get them online. But basically what you do is, so now you go get a stone. Or you can order pieces of metal on eBay, sheets of metal. It may be a sheet of tin or a sheet of copper to inscribe your Venus talisman, for example. So now you have the elemental realm, or in this case, it's solar. Gold is pretty expensive. You might use gold leafing or something, okay? You might use a neutral... also parchment is used. Paper talismans are parchment. Actually, a lambskin. Now, some people feel iffy about this ethically. Is there an ethical way to do this? But just looking at the theory of magic and looking at Agrippa, A lambskin parchment is perfect for a Sun in Aries talisman. So the Sun is exalted in Aries. Aries is the ram. So a lambskin parchment, you can buy that on Etsy. You can make your solar talisman while the Sun is exalted in Aries. Lambskin parchment. As an example, I'm just giving an example of how you're taking the elemental realm, the second realm of the astrological, now the divine realm. Let's contact the intelligence of the Sun, or let's contact Michael, the archangel of the Sun. So now we've lined up all three worlds. Now we're talking about Renaissance magic. We have the elemental realm, okay? We have our lambskin parchment. Second, and again, it's just an example. I don't want to upset people it's an example. Is it a bad example? Possibly. It's what's coming to mind, y'all. But lambskin is an example of ram. The Sun is in the ram, it's exalted. Lambskin, talisman of the Sun, the right timing, that second world. Third world, contact Michael, associated with the Sun. Or some people would put Raphael. There's like this weird, is it Michael or Raphael? Do your ritual. So this is taking the divine world, celestial, elemental. We're lining these up so that, think of them like lasers. You're putting like lenses. The light shines through all three. It's like lined up. You have the celestial, divine, and elemental realms. Now, something interesting is you don't have to combine all three. Now, I happen to be very blessed. I consider myself a very humble person in some ways. I consider myself a humble person in some ways because I do have viewers and I do have an audience, and yet I don't try to put myself up above what I am. I have, and I would guide people with some grimoire type stuff, like something like the Arbitel or Shim Angels, but like higher level, like grimoire magic, I would not guide anyone, but I do have mentors. And I'm very grateful. I've had a mentor in grimoire magic. He prefers to be silent, and I'm not gonna mention him just for his own privacy. But I've had a mentor about 10 years in grimoire magic, and why was I bringing this up? This is why. I'm blessed to have had very traditional mentors. Now I understand that we live in a very non-traditional society, and I think it's good. I think it's good that we live in a society that bucks the norm, and it brings in innovation and things like that. I think dogmatism can often be like a prison. It prevents freedom of thought and movement. However, I feel blessed in that it's helped me to have a solid or a lens or a grasping of things that I'm so sorry, y'all. Where was I? Oh, they don't, the really hardcore grimoire magicians, a lot of them, they don't follow much astrological timing. Now, this is really surprising. Many people are surprised, but now there are different schools of thought with grimoire magic. Some people do the hardcore timing and the grimoire magic, but there's some people that make Solomonic talismans. They make sure they make sure the moon is waxing, and it's the planetary day and hour. Boom. They're not really worried like Picatrix level. Like the Picatrix is very exacting. The planet is in the ascendant, or it's in the midheaven, and like just all these things. It's in the sex. It's in an aspect, a trine or sextile to the fortunes, or you know what I'm saying. It's like really, it avoids the malefics. It's like really It's not in a square opposition to the sun or moon. The sun and moon are well aspect. All these things in the Picatrix, that is a second world form of magic. It's purely focused on the astrological realm. I have a really good friend, colleague that I respect, Clifford. He's mostly like a purely astrological magician. He doesn't work with spirits. But for him, it's very important the proper timing. So there is like a purely, long story short, there are people that just work with stones and plants. They don't give a damn about astrology or angels. They just work with stones and plants, and their magic works. There are people that more purely work with astrological timing, like the Picatrix. And there is some stones and plants and spirit magic in, but it's more emphasis on astrology. And then there are people like my main mentor that are more focused on the divine world, and they don't even bother that much about astrological timing. They'll probably do a waxing moon and planetary hour, but that's it. They're not worried about. So I wanted to put that out there, that there are very hardcore ceremonial, like grimoire magicians by the book, that they're just not real focused on proper astrological timing. So one could have an emphasis on the divine world. Like I said, you're more focused on the archangel. They're not ruled, since they're a step above the celestial world or astrological world. They're not bound by it. Angels aren't bound by the astrological world. Now, there are different views in the community. There are different opinions. Some people will say I'm wrong. I'm just repeating what my main mentor has always said, and what I've heard other very hardcore traditional grimoire magicians say. Honestly, I'm pretty open to different views. But anyways, there are highly like traditional grimoire magicians that they're not worried about astrological timing, because they're focused a step above in the divine world. And there's some people, they're not focused on angels. They're more focused on a purely like Mars talisman. They're all about the timing. And then there's some people more about the elemental realm with stones and crystals. So anyways, it's funny that Agrippa, he outlines these three types of magic in the 16th century. So if you really want to study about magic and the occult, and you haven't explored it yet, I highly recommend that you read the 3 books of occult philosophy by Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. This was published in, book 1 was published in 1531, all 3 books together in 1533. So this is very important. It dates back to the 16th century. Very important text. I'm going to provide a link. Actually, I've already got one in my live, and I'll provide it on YouTube, pinned to the top. My links are commissioned, so I do get a commission if you buy from my link. And that is today's reading of Agrippa. Now, this is a live. Doesn't look like I have a whole lot of people on here. Does anyone have anything to share? Cato or Cato, I apologize if I mispronounce. Either way, Cato or Cato says Aaron Leach sells blessed lambskin. Yes, he does. Aaron Leach. I actually ordered a linen robe through him. I think it's actually through Azoth Art, but recently. So Aaron Leach does provide that. And with Aaron Leach, because he is well known, not that that's necessarily a safeguard, but he takes his craft seriously, you know that you're getting it from a legitimate, place. At least more so than just some random person on Etsy, in my opinion. You want to go with someone known just because it might be somebody in their basement that's just You don't know what they're selling you, you know. So let's see here. Cato says Mars stuff for strength and protection. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's see, it looks like I need to scroll up. I have been playing using the three kingdoms and incense when I can. Oh, yeah, like the three worlds. I have been mixing cut up parrot feather in like 8 pieces to my Mercury incense. Wow, that's interesting because that is a bird associated with Mercury. I know at least in 777, I think, if I remember correctly, is now as glass as the stone. Wow, cool. I have not used. Okay. I'm not going to read that. Not that I have a problem with it, but just because I'm paranoid that YouTube is going to hear certain words. You know, I'm worried that YouTube's going to hear certain words and cut me or something. Let's see. I have not used that for instance yet, but it's interesting. Yeah, I don't think it would be great. Oh, okay. Any suggestions for my son's wrestling meet today? Some stone or herb for his favor. Dragon's blood can be associated with Aries, and the sun is in Aries right now. Very simple thing you can do is at the hour of the sun, if you have a planetary hours app. If not, there are planetary hours apps out there. There's one called Planetary Times on Android. So anyways, planetary hours app, planetary hour of the sun based on your location. At the hour of the sun, or at the hour of Mars, you could burn, at the hour of Mars, you could burn some dragon's blood and recite the Orphic hymn to Mars, and then call upon Mars. Yeah, what Cato said, Mars stuff for strength and protection. Yeah, but a little dragon's blood, and at the hour of Mars, ignite that and recite the Orphic hymn to Mars or Aries, and then maybe light a red candle and maybe carve his name in it and ask for strength. That's how I would do it, make a little candle spell out of it. See, what you're doing is you're just using correspondences, which is found in Agrippa, and you're making a spell out of it. And I mean, it's this is magic. This is the theory and practice of magic. Cato says, I tend to think of these space objects as reflecting Theos and Septem Spiritus Deus, physical representations of the heavens like the below reflect of the above, which is above us. All right, y'all. Yeah, thank you for all these wonderful comments. Thank you, Cato, and thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, Nicholas said, great, thanks. Awesome. Agrippa 2 parrot is Mercury. Cool. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, Agrippa is great because it goes into the correspondences. I am so excited. I'm so excited. Yeah, I think so. This was Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, book 1, chapter 1. How I'm going to do these is I'm going to begin, jump right in, read it, get it done, and then we'll do a discussion like this. That way, people that are just wanting to hear the book, they can just jump straight to that, and then they could skip the discussion if they want and go on to the next video. That's the next chapter. So it's just for practicality. Jump right into the text, read it, and then we'll discuss. So that's how we're going to do these Agrippa things. And, I'm glad that we're able to do these lives because I'm not the only person that's read Agrippa. So have many of you. And we can collectively share our insights. Maybe you have something, bounce ideas and So that's like a sharing in the community. So I feel honored to do that as well, so that way it's not just all about me. Let me see here. Camilla Camilla says, I've always found that working with the planetary spirits works good as a base, and then leading up to the full moon, what you want to bring to you, and after the full moon, what you want to remove. Yes. Actually, that's found in the Key of Solomon. The Key of Solomon and a lot of these old grimoires. They tell, even actually the Picatrix itself says to bring in when the moon is waxing, and when the moon is decreasing is a time to diminish and to do malevolent stuff as well. But when you want to get rid of something, that's the more positive side of that. You want to get rid of something. Oddly enough, I am no expert in the Key of Solomon, and I would not teach the Key of Solomon on YouTube or pretend to guide others. But, I work with the Key of Solomon a little bit. And interestingly, the full moon is very popular in neo-pagan circles and a lot of circles, but nowadays. But the Key of Solomon says that the full moon is a bad time. Why? Because if you look at what the full moon, the sun and moon are in opposition. And when the sun and moon are in opposition, that means the sun and moon are in 180 degrees from each other. So the full moon in the Key of Solomon was not good at all. Full moon, sun and moon were in opposition. That means that they are against each other. So the heavens are in conflict. Now, I'm not saying that full moons are bad. Please don't say that I'm saying that. I'm not. Full moons are great. I'm just pointing out that there's a different tradition. Centuries ago, I'm just pointing out a different tradition, okay? That full moon's actually in the Key. It's just an interesting detail that actually in the Key of Solomon, full moons were a bad time because the sun and moon were in opposition. If you want to bring in the Key of Solomon, you would work in the waxing moon. The waxing moon. Anyways. So that is, but we're going all over the place. So clearly we've moved beyond our topic here. All right. Cato says, I'm going to make the feather pen from the Key of Solomon. Heck yeah. The Colorno, the Key of Solomon and Mathers. It's funny, in my videos many years ago, I criticized the Mathers Key of Solomon. And I extolled, but Stephen Skinner did such an amazing job. What he did was, Skinner has done more than many people actually realize that don't really know all that he's actually done. But his veritable key is incredible. But also, now I've come to take another look at the Mathers Key of Solomon, and with Peterson's footnotes, it's Colorno. And I think it's good, with Peterson's footnotes. But anyways, all right. We've gone way beyond Agrippa in chapter 1. So more videos to come. I was just pointing out that, let's see. Cato says, I read the Black Moon in Solomonic books is not the new moon to them. I don't know what that's really referring to, but all right. And another thing to remember is that there's a difference between Kandari and planet, which are done at the days and hours of Mercury, the Kandari, and the planetary pentacles that are done at the planetary days and hours of the planet. The planetary pentacles. That's a whole other topic. This is supposed to be Agrippa, and we're going into the Key of Solomon. So that means it's it for now. More videos to come, And then tomorrow, does anyone have anything to add? I want to give I don't want to close. And then there's the one guy that's irritated that's going to say, son of a bitch, I had something to say, and he closed the thing. I had something to say, and he had to close it. So if anyone has anything to say, now is the time. All right, y'all. How's everyone's day going? It's a beautiful day. I've actually been enjoying this Texas spring weather. It's been a little cool for the springtime, so still trying to, yeah. All right, let me see what else we got here. Eclipses, that's another time. Classical magic eclipses were, people nowadays, they think of just in terms of PowerPoints, but is it a good or a bad power? Like what kind of PowerPoint? They're just different views over time, but that's it for today. And we went all over the place in this video with chapter 1. And then in the next video, we're going to go into chapter 2. And of course, we're going to go into some other topics as well. And we're going to continue our journey through the Shem Angels. So thank you everyone for joining me in these videos. And this is the very first of my reading of Agrippa. This was Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, book 1, chapter 1. And this is the beginning of a long thing here. All right, y'all. Nicholas says, beautiful and rainy day here. All right. Let's see. All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time, and thank you for stopping in to say hello and joining me on my live, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a great day, everyone.